Hello, hello, this is Mr. Evilcheese. It is our review of the McFarlane Toys 7-inch scale Mandarin Spawn action figure. And this one's actually an action figure this time. Because all the other ones were just kind of...
statues?
Yeah, slightly posable statues. Mandarin Spawn was one of my most favorite figures ever. We actually made a video that I never edited, where we're talking about all the Mandarin Spawns, and that I was hoping they'd make an articulated one. And I never got around to posting it. Of course, they announced this one, which is really cool. Well, there's actually two. There's this one and the more reddish, fiery colored one. But that hasn't come out yet. But this is part of the gold label collection. I don't know what that means. They just...
It means it has a little gold label in the corner.
I think it does. It's kind of like color tops that they had for a while. It is like to give a name to something, like it means something. But there's a figure there. Oh, this is Walmart exclusive too, I think.
And this is not a toy.
Why did you say that?
Because it says not a toy. 14 plus.
What?
13-year-olds can't play with this.
McFarlane,
it's too dangerous.
McFarlane Toys, not a toy. What?
It says it right over there.
Yeah, McFarlane Toys, not a toy.
Well, then what is it?
It's a collectible, a highly detailed collectible for adults.
Well, then they should call themselves McFarlane Collectibles.
Yeah. There's some designs on the side. On this side too. On the back, a picture of the figure. Let's open him up. Okay, so there he is, opened up. And, oh, I almost forgot to mention, this was sent to me by Fu Manchu from Fu Reviews. So thanks, Fu. It comes with 3 accessories. This big long thing, which is called a something.
Smacky stick.
And then a big long thing.
That's a cutty stick.
And a base that says Spawn on it. It just say Mandarin Spawn.
That's a foot disc.
And for the most part, the figure looks pretty cool. One thing that happened when they first showed this one off on McFarlane's page is, I was like, this isn't the finished color, is it? This is just like the blue's colored in, the white. It's not finished colored. And then someone commented and said, well, if they're going to add in the articulation, then they're going to have to take away from the paint. And I'm like, oh.
Why?
I know, and I showed him a picture of like the Mortal Kombat figures that have articulation and ridiculous paint. And so I'm like, what are you talking about? So, yeah, this kind of like the gray and the white almost just looks like it's not finished painted. Like this on here, like it doesn't look like it should be all gray. It looks like there should be colors in there. So that's one thing that kind of bugs me about this. Now I do love that they made Mandarin Spawn articulated, but I just feel like they really got lazy with the paint on him. I mean, he's such a detailed figure, there is a lot of paint in them, but when you look at the old ones, it's just like...
They had way more going on with the paint.
Yeah, it's still cool that he's articulated now. Even though I'll probably just have him stand up straight. Well, maybe not. I might not. But...
You don't even know.
I don't. I do like what they did with this little blade thing here. That dragon that's sculpted into it's pretty cool. And then another dragon or something down here. A little feathery leaf looking flamey thing at the end. And there's some carvings on this too. Spawn symbol. Some more little dragons. This also looks like there should be some paint on it. Like that shouldn't just be all solid blue.
Especially the little candle wrap. Should be a different color.
So, here's a closer look. You see his face. Nice sculpt there. Let's compare it to the old ones. I think the old ones' sculpt may have been a little better. But this one's still pretty cool too. Got the crazy teeth. Little spawn thing on his head. And all these little spikies coming out the back. And like even this, that looks very unfinished.
He's got a little random ball sack that's the same color as his butt cloth.
I don't know what that is. Bag. I think it's supposed to be like a little bag. And it should be painted. This I don't know if I like this. Because it just kind of blends up this random spot starts changing colors. Seems like...
It seems like this piece should be blue and the bone color should just stop at the edge of it.
Yeah.
Instead of having a gradient.
And right there's pretty plain. I think these could be painted better. The fiery one might be painted a little better. I'm not sure. It seems so lazy. Like the gray, I think, is supposed to look metal, but
yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, it's not really silver, it's just shiny gray.
Yeah, it's odd color.
Because on the old ones, it was usually either like a bright color or like a metallic.
Yeah. Guess we should get one of the old ones out, a couple of them, to compare. So there's a couple of the old ones. And the detail on them is just ridiculous compared to the new one. At least the paint detail.
Yeah, even just look at the feet.
Yeah.
I mean, just that is so different.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time painting these guys. So maybe just McFarlane's current company or workers wouldn't be able to do this much paint with what they're doing right now. Still, it seems like it could be a little more than what they did here. Really, I think the sculpt's better on this one too. So it would be cool if these two were articulated, because it seems like a slight step down. But really, if they would make it like a deluxe version of him that was articulated and cost a little more, I'd be fine with that. They shrunk his little hit spike down too. Much bigger on the old ones.
Yeah, and you just mentioned off camera that he doesn't have a shield.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that. The old one has swords. I mean, I could see them switching to weapons and stuff, but I just like that crazy detailed shield. You can see this has like, what, 3 colors? Blue, gray, and green. And this is so much nicer. I guess there's really only, what, 4 colors here, but it just looks nicer. It looks nicer in these old ones. One thing about the new one, though, is the sculpt on this is really nice. Very detailed sculpt. And I think it would look pretty cool if it was painted a little more. And I think this is a big thing. There's something that's really bugging me about his like leg pieces. It didn't seem right, and it's because they didn't paint it. Mm-hmm. Look at all that going on there.
I do think it'd be really fun to custom paint one of them.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to paint this one to look like sort of how they were trying to do it, but just make it better. Fill in all this stuff that they just left blank from like that one.
It'd be really hard to do, but it would look cool if all that silver was chrome.
Yeah. Surprisingly, they have more detail on this spike than the old ones do. Mm-hmm. The spike is just smooth, but the new spike is better. And there's a comparison of the backs, and that is just...
That is so different.
Yes. He has a pouch there too, but it's painted. But look at all that color on them. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a long time ago they made these figures, so I'm guessing, just like I was saying, they probably have different people working. What it costs to pay them is probably a little more, but...
But if it had looked really good like those, we would have been willing to pay a little bit more, too. So.
Yeah. So, still, it's cool to get the sculpt to work with, at least, an articulated sculpt that I could paint. It'd just be nice if it was already painted super awesome. I guess we'll do a comparison of the articulations from the new to the old. On the old one, the head just turns left and right, that's it. The new one can turn left and right. And it can go down a tiny bit. Can't really go back because it hits this. But it can tilt side to side, which is nice. So it can pop off completely.
Limitless.
But yeah, there is a little more articulation at the head, which is cool. And with the old one, the shoulders just spun. That's all they could do. This one can barely move, but the new one's got a lot more. It's got that butterfly joint, which I don't think it's going to do a whole lot, but this can twist. Can go out. This kind of hits, but still.
Way better than the old one's articulation.
Yeah.
Which was basically nothing.
Mm-hmm. Then at the elbows, this one can only spin, and this one can only go like that with a little hinge. But the new one, what can it do? Go like that. It can spin and have a hinge on both arms. So that's cool. At the wrist, nothing. This one could spin at that wrist, but that one doesn't move at all. This one can spin, and it has a hinge. There's a lot more articulation on this one. Nothing at the torso. This one has a joint there and there, ball joints. So way more articulation at the torso. So yeah, the articulation is, it's even more than twice as much. I don't even know what the percentage would be, but it's...
Do you know words?
Yes.
You're struggling.
The hips, this one can just spin. It just has a cut at the hips. But this one, go out like that, go back and forward, spin a little bit. So that's much better. And I don't think this one has any other articulation. The knees can't do anything. Ankles don't spin or nothing. But this one has double jointed knees. And then also ankle articulation, which is... Was it just... Is that it?
I think it might go forward and back. It's just really stuck.
Yeah, it looks like
Because
there's
you can see like there's a piece there. It just doesn't seem to want to move.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Don't break
think...
it.
Well, it looks like it just spins, but maybe... Oh, it tilts too. But it looks like maybe that can move too, go back. We've got to heat it up and see. So this actually is a joint here. It's very tight. I had to heat it up at the hair dryer. You can see it moves there. And clicks into place. It's got these little indents in there, so it'll click and holds place really good. And it's still tight even after... Yeah, I can go way back like that. So that's cool. Gives you a little bit of extra articulation. You can go forward a little bit. But obviously that shin guard stops it. So articulation is so much better on the new one. Just that there's a lot of paint detail on the new one. I actually like that face better than the Spawn symbol on the new one. That
It just seems weird with the rest of it.
Yeah. I mean, that makes it more Spawn than this face, but I don't know. So there he is holding one of the weapons, which is cool. You get him in different poses. Which that really is nice to be able to pose him in different ways. There he is holding the bigger weapon, which is cool. So there he is holding both weapons. There he is. I gave him the other guy's shield, just temporarily. Let's see what he looked like with one. That's pretty cool. Looks more detailed than he is. At least in the paint. Here he is next to the large version of the second version of Mandarin Spawn, where he's kind of stuck in this pose. But I just kind of wanted to show him off to see if I can do that pose, because I think I can, but I'm not sure. So there he is, pretty much doing that pose. Alright, I think this figure is bittersweet, because I love the articulation that they added, but the paint is nowhere near as good as the old one. If this figure came out and I never seen the old ones, then I would probably be a little more amazed with this one. But because I've seen the old ones, I'm like, oh, I wish it looked as good as the old ones.
Those old ones, I mean, they are pretty ridiculous though. You don't see a lot of toys like that. With
No.
that paint.
Even with how much they were like statues, I still consider the original Mandarin Spawn to be one of my favorite figures ever. So,
Your expectations were high.
yeah, really high. But
I mean, it's still a really good figure. We like it. It's just...
yeah,
It could have been a little better.
yeah, we were just talking like we got the Mortal Kombat Baraka, and the paint was terrible on it. The sculpt was amazing, but the paint was terrible, and I had to customize it.
Yeah, honestly, before you painted him, he looked like shit. He
Yeah.
was hideous. And now, after you added just a little bit of shading and stuff, he looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, how much effort would have taken for them to make something good instead of something that looked like doo-doo?
Yeah. So I think they need to do something about their paint apps to get them to improve a little bit. But still, I'm really glad I got this figure. I mean, I definitely wanted it, and I plan on painting this and getting another one to just completely do my own paint and color scheme. And you said you wanted to do that too.
Yeah, I want one. I think this would be so much fun to customize.
Yeah. And whenever the fiery red one comes out, I'll definitely want that.
Yeah, even though the sculpt itself still isn't as detailed as the old one, there's so much detail that's not highlighted.
Yeah.
So I think it'll look a lot better.
But thanks for sending it, because I really wanted this one. And despite there being paint issues, I still really like it. And, well, that's Mr. Evilcheese.
And I'm Double Cat.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Look what I can do.
Hey everyone, it's Clementine from The Walking Dead, and you are watching Mr. Evilcheese and Zombie Cat. Don't be a shitbird and subscribe already. Do it. Thanks.